I bought a fancy condo near the train station. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Why are you bringing this up out of nowhere? And not just any condo, he bought it. It's amazing, the view is beautiful, and the rooms are spotless, he said like it was no big deal. I was confused. It turns out, while I was staying at my parents' house, he sold our current apartment and bought the condo behind my back. Then, he moved in without even telling me. No way, where did you get the money for this? I was panicking, but he stayed calm and smug. Oh, I used the money from selling our apartment to make the down payment, he said. What? And by the way, I'm going to live here with mom and dad. I don't need a freeloader like you hanging around. He decided, without asking me, to live with his parents and kick me out of the picture. I was so shocked I didn't even know what to say. My name is Lily, I'm 32 years old, pregnant, and a stay-at-home wife. I'm 8 months along and counting the days until I meet my baby. My husband, David, is 35 and works for a big company. We've been married for 3 years, and I was overjoyed when I finally got pregnant. We'd been trying for a while, but at the same time, I was nervous about my first pregnancy and childbirth. To relax, I visited David's parents' house often. Lily, you're going to be a mom soon, how does it feel? Honestly, it doesn't feel real yet, I'd reply with a nervous smile. The one asking was Rachel, the wife of David's brother, Ethan. She's the reason I enjoyed going to my in-laws' house. I didn't talk much to Ethan, but Rachel and I became good friends. She's a stay-at-home mom too and lives with my in-laws. David's mom started having trouble walking 2 years ago, and the family was worried about leaving her alone during the day, so Rachel, who used to work as a caregiver, stepped in to help. She's kind and didn't hesitate to take care of her. Even though my mother-in-law only needs a cane sometimes, Rachel does a lot to support her. I admire how selfless and quick she was to help. Rachel and Ethan have a 5-year-old daughter, and seeing how Rachel handles motherhood made me feel less nervous about my own pregnancy. She's been a great friend and role model. Time went by, and I had just 1 month left until my due date. I'd been planning this for a while, so I decided to stay at my parents' house to prepare for the baby's arrival. Even though my belly felt heavy, I enjoyed shopping for baby clothes and imagining life with my little one. It was so relaxing to spend time at my parents' home, and it felt refreshing to be back for a longer stay. 2 days past my due date, I started having contractions. I tried calling my husband, Ethan, but he didn't pick up. I also sent him a text, but he didn't reply. At first, I thought maybe he was busy with work or something serious had come up. But as the contractions got stronger, I didn't have time to dwell on it. My focus was completely on bringing my baby into the world. Thankfully, I gave birth to a healthy baby girl. When I held her in my arms for the first time, I felt pure happiness. It was like nothing else mattered. Ethan was supposed to be there for the birth, but he never showed up at the hospital. I wanted to confront him, but I was too exhausted. So, I just sent him a text letting him know we had a baby girl and then fell asleep. Sometime later, I woke up to someone calling my name. Still sleeping? Huh, Ethan? Is it morning already? Come on, Lily, wake up, he said casually. When I opened my eyes, I saw Ethan standing there, with his parents behind him. He smiled and said, "Look, my parents came, you should thank them for coming." I couldn't believe it. I had specifically told Ethan I didn't want visitors right after giving birth. "Why didn't you reply to me yesterday?" I asked, annoyed. "Well, I had dinner plans with my parents," he said matter-of-factly. "Dinner plans? Are you serious?" He shrugged. "Yeah, we went out for sushi, but I drank a lot, so I figured it wouldn't be a good idea to come here drunk. I didn't want to cause a scene." I stared at him in disbelief. While I was in labor, he was out drinking and eating sushi with his parents? Before I could respond, he asked, "Anyway, where's the baby?" "She's in the nursery, she's healthy and perfect," I replied, trying to keep calm. As soon as I said she, his mother frowned. "A girl? Ugh, what a useless wife." "What did you just say?" I asked, shocked. His father added, "This is pathetic. First Rachel, and now Lily, both of you failed." I felt my blood boiling. How could they say this to me, especially after everything I'd just been through? Then Ethan, instead of standing up for me, sighed and said, "Yeah, I knew it was a girl, but I was really hoping we'd have a boy. My parents were counting on us." I couldn't believe my ears. Disappointed? Counting on us? Why did it matter so much to them? I never thought I'd have to worry about having a son, since Ethan is the second son in his family, but his parents had been hoping for a boy, especially since the first grandchild was a girl. Honestly, I didn't care about that at all. For me, it didn't matter if my baby was a boy or a girl, my child was perfect just the way she was. Ethan should have felt the same, but it was clear he was more interested in pleasing his parents. Even though I was furious, I was still exhausted from giving birth, and I didn't have the energy to argue. A nurse, who had overheard our conversation through the wall, kindly stepped in and asked Ethan and his parents to leave. As I cried, the nurse comforted me. After that, Ethan didn't even bother to visit me at the hospital. Finally, it was time for me and my daughter to leave the hospital. I had my parents come pick us up and decided to go to their house instead of returning to the one I'd shared with Ethan. I couldn't understand why Ethan had become so cold. He used to be more caring when we first got married. What happened to him? Maybe it was because of that big mistake he made at work 2 years ago. He caused a huge loss for the company, but his colleagues covered for him, so he didn't get into trouble. Still, it seemed to completely derail him. He had worked hard to get back on track, but it felt like no matter how hard he tried, his career wasn't moving forward. Maybe that's why he became indifferent about everything, even at home. On top of that, one of his colleagues, someone he'd been better than at work when they first joined the company, became his boss after Ethan's mistake. I think that really bothered him and added to his stress. I thought having the baby might change him, but he didn't even seem to be trying. What would happen to our family in the future? I felt so anxious and overwhelmed. Then, out of nowhere, Ethan called me. "Hey, when are you coming back? You've been at your parents' house for almost a month since the baby was born." I wasn't ready to go back. "I'm sorry, I'll come back soon," I replied, not knowing what to say. It was time to get it together for my daughter and move forward. Just as I was thinking this, I told him, "I've got a lot of baby stuff here, can you come pick us up?" Ethan's response shocked me. "No, you don't need to bring any of that stuff back. Actually, I need to talk to you about something. Maybe I should have told you over the phone instead of making you come back." "What do you mean?" I didn't understand what he was getting at. Then, he told me something even more shocking. "I bought a high-rise condo near the train station." "What? What do you mean?" Why was he bringing this up now? And, of course, he was the one who bought it. "It's great, it has an amazing view, and the rooms are spotless." "I don't understand," I said, feeling completely confused. He had moved out of our old apartment and into this luxury condo while I was staying at my parents' house. "No way, where did you get the money for this? You can't even get a loan with your salary." While I was freaking out, he didn't even apologize. He just casually said, "I made the down payment by selling our house." It hit me then, there was something else he hadn't told me. "Wait, can you explain this properly? What do you mean you sold our house? Where are your parents living now?" He sounded excited when he answered, "Oh, they're living with me in the condo now." "What?" "I'm going to live with them in this awesome new place. I don't need someone like you around anymore. Get out." Just like that, he decided to move in with his parents and kick me out without even asking me. I was completely speechless. I didn't know where to start. Not only had Ethan suddenly started calling his parents mommy and daddy, but now he was living with them in the condo, and on top of that, he told me to leave, basically demanding a divorce. I just sat there, stunned, while he went on, "You're so cocky just being a housewife. You're nothing without my salary. You've just been lazy lately." "What are you talking about? That was only because of the horrible morning sickness," I shot back. I had been busy until the moment I gave birth, but he wouldn't listen. "Our baby wasn't a boy. You're totally useless. My parents even said it's better to be with a younger woman who can give me a son, instead of someone like you, and they don't want to live with my brother and his wife anymore. I packed your stuff in a storage room, so go pick it up. Oh, and I've already sent you the divorce papers, you better file them." Then he hung up. I was too shocked to do anything. Why did I marry such a jerk? I felt like I made the worst decision. But then I remembered I had my daughter, and I couldn't stay stuck. I had to stay strong for her. After taking some time to process, I decided I was done with him. I wasn't going to let him control my life any longer. Divorce? Fine, let's see who regrets it more in the end. When I told my parents about everything, they were furious. They promised to help me finalize the divorce as soon as the papers arrived. Once I got them, I signed and filed them. A couple of weeks later, Ethan showed up at my parents' house, angry. Hey, what's going on? Why was so much money withdrawn from my bank account? He slammed his bank book down on the table, shouting. I stayed calm. Don't you know what property division is? What? That's __. The account is in my name. I'm not giving you anything. I was done with him. Do you forget? When your salary dropped because of that stupid mistake at work, I started a side job from home. I contributed just as much as you. It's our shared property. I'm taking my share back. You're joking. I don't believe it. That's when my dad, who had been quiet up until now, spoke up. How about we take you to court over this? What? How dare you insult my daughter like this? I feel sorry for her that she had to deal with someone like you. Get out of here. My dad, who was a policeman, scared Ethan enough that he just ran out of the house. From that day on, I managed to break off the relationship with Ethan without much trouble. We also settled everything about dividing our assets. Since then, I've been focusing on raising my daughter at my parents' house. Parenting is getting easier, and most importantly, my daughter is just too cute. I'm living a happy life with my adorable baby girl. A few months later, I started receiving unexpected calls from an unknown number. I kept ignoring them, thinking it was probably work-related, but the calls kept coming, so I decided to pick up. Hello? Hello, Sarah. It was Ethan. What do you want? How are you doing, huh? I don't really want to talk to you about that. Can I hang up now? Wait. Oh, can you come back here? What? I'm having trouble paying the mortgage for the condo. They're going to kick me out. Oh, okay. I'm not surprised. You're out of money, aren't you? Yeah. I ran out of savings. My dad hurt his back, so he had to quit his job. Mom brags to her friends, but she's always complaining. It's a mess. Haha, sounds like your parents. I don't know what to do anymore. It made sense now. He shouldn't have even passed the home loan screening with his salary. I guess he had used his savings, his dad's salary, and a loan to buy the condo. But now, with his dad unable to work and his mom spending all their money, he couldn't keep up with the payments. I found out my bank balance was zero, and I'm being told to leave if I don't pay by next week. Please come back, Sarah. We really loved each other once. After laughing for a moment, I spoke calmly. Give me a break. You just want to take advantage of me whenever it's convenient, don't you? You're counting on my salary and just want someone to clean up after you. No. He fell silent after that. You also called me a parasite, didn't you? Wouldn't I just get in the way if I came back? Well, I didn't mean it like that. As he made excuses, I remembered something else I'd been worried about. By the way, what about Jane and your brother? They've already moved out. They're living together now. My brother got into a fight with Dad when he told him to start living better. Dad lost it and said, I don't want to be told what to do by someone who married a woman who couldn't even give me a son. My brother, who's usually so calm, just exploded and said, I'm cutting ties with you both if you keep making fun of my wife. I see. Your brother seems like a decent person. It's good to know he cares about Jane. Please come back. Sarah, are you serious? Who would want to come back to you? I'm too busy taking care of my daughter. I don't have time for people like you. People like me? By the way, do you really call your parents daddy and mommy? It's so weird to act like that at your age. Please, don't say that. You can still bring our daughter here. What? Wasn't it you who wanted to live with her when you first asked me? Oh, I get it. You forgot you even had a daughter. I would never bring my daughter to such a terrible father. Don't ever call me again. If you show up, I'll call the police, and my dad will arrest you. When I said that, I could hear him realize how scary my dad could be. I hung up, blocked his number, and changed mine to avoid any further contact. Not long after, Jane reached out, and we made plans to meet up for the first time in a while. I'm sorry I didn't keep in touch. We actually moved to the countryside, and it took a while to get the internet set up. Jane and her family had moved to a quiet rural area. I went to visit her, and it was such a peaceful town surrounded by nature. I thought it would be a perfect place for my daughter to grow up. She would be happy and healthy in that environment. Later, my brother-in-law told me about Ethan and his parents. They were eventually evicted from the condo and left with debt. Now Ethan is still taking care of his parents, struggling to make ends meet. It was no surprise. Meanwhile, I work from home and live with my parents. I can work from anywhere, so I decided to spend a few days at Jane's house and then head back to spend time with my daughter. When my daughter is older, maybe we can move to the countryside and live close to Jane. I'm excited about the future and the life we're building. Buying a condo while your wife is pregnant, who does that? Maybe if you're rich, but not with a regular income. Either way, I'm glad to be away from that awful husband. I hope Jane and her family continue to live happily together. Thanks for watching to the end. Please subscribe if you liked the story, and I'll see you in the next video.